Florida Congressman Randy Fine. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
I wish that we had something sunnier to talk about, but I gotta say, 58 Democrats who refuse to condemn political violence, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I mean, even just those things, even if you don't want to honor Charlie Kirk, those other two things, those are pretty black and white.
Well, I think today we got to see the Civil War caucus in the Democratic Party who said, well, violence is bad, but you got to realize he was a pretty bad guy. What they don't understand is when you say it doesn't matter what he said, you shouldn't kill him. When the language is anything other than that, we end up where we are right now. I mean, the fact of the matter is I despise some of the people on the other side of the aisle, but I don't want any of them to be shot. And if any of them were, I wouldn't make excuses for the shooter, which is what AOC did today.
Yeah, it's repugnant, frankly. And sir, you actually were attacked by CNN for asking people on Twitter to tell you anyone in the state of Florida who works for government who celebrated the murder of Charlie Kirk, because I think these people should be called out. And CNN attacked you for this. But I'm old enough to remember times when CNN has called out people or has not called out people on the left for saying disgusting things like this. Why is it such a double standard?
Well, you have to understand we're in a civilizational war between those who believe in good and evil and those who don't. Remember, these people wanted to arrest mothers speaking at school board meetings, unhappy about what was going on in their schools. They called them domestic terrorists. The left believes that they are so morally right, that they are so morally superior, that the ends justify their means. And what they need to understand is when they attacked Charlie Kirk, they didn't just attack Charlie and his family. They didn't just attack conservatism. They didn't just attack Republicans. They attacked the country. Because if we can't settle our political disputes with words, then we're going to have to settle them with guns. We've done that twice in our history. The American Revolution was a civil war between British subjects. The American Civil War was obviously a civil war. I don't want another one of these. But when you get the Civil War yes but caucus, that's the direction that they point us in.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see, but I know that you have been crystal clear when it comes to Democrats, and you talked about the hypocrisy, about how that is in the DNA of Democrats. They have weaponized, as you were just talking about, the DOJ against free speech activists and tried to equate them with holding employees responsible for their abhorrent statements. Sir, I'm pretty crystal clear on what the First Amendment dictates, and it doesn't cover slander, libel, or inciting violence.
Or violence. No, it doesn't at all. And that's what we have going on here. The people that I'm targeting, I'm not targeting because their speech. You have no right to a government job. You have no right to a government contract. You have no right to a government license. These are privileges. And when you use those privileges to advance attacks against the United States, which is what silencing political opponents are through violence, you have no place in civil society. And I'm proud we've already rooted out a bunch of them, and we're going to keep on going.
Good. And it seems like Florida is handling this with surgical precision when it comes to plucking people, especially out of schools. You guys, and also Texas, Governor Greg Abbott in Texas is not having it when it comes to educators spouting this garbage. How dangerous is it that there are educators in states all across this country who are saying this type of stuff, but you've got states out there who aren't doing anything about it? Thank goodness in Florida you are. There are plenty of states that aren't.
Well, it's extremely dangerous. Look, we know the motive of the shooter, contrary to what CNN might say, but we don't know how he got there. This is not someone who appears to have come from a broken home and a terrible home life. Someone who appears to have come from a good family enough that his own parents turned him in. So clearly it was outside influences that poisoned this young man's mind. And no one has more ability to do that than teachers and professors. So when we see teachers lionizing violence, again, that superior sanctimony of we are so morally right, we are so justified that violence in advance of our cause is necessary, we have to root that out. But we don't put up with that stuff in Florida. Frankly, if America was run like Florida, most of our problems would be gone.
Yeah, absolutely. Sir, I want to move on to some other topics because there are some good things happening in this country. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins announced that they're a major trade win with Taiwan. They committed to $10 billion in U.S. agriculture buys over the next 4 years. Soybeans, corn, wheat, beef. Florida is a huge agriculture state. We get so much of our nation's produce from there. Tell us about how beneficial this is going to be. It's going to boost that sector.
Well, the president's trade policies have been an unambiguous success. He has said, no longer are we going to be chumps. See, apparently the left thinks tariffs are a great idea when other countries do them, but when we do them, they're the worst idea in the world. The president said, we're done with this. We're going to open up our other countries' markets to our goods, and we saw that happen with Taiwan today. $10 billion of products, by the way, at a pretty small place. But we're seeing this over and over and over across the board with this increase in this growth, and we're just going to keep on working and making it happen. And President Trump's leading the way.
Absolutely. All right. So I want to use that to springboard to midterms because before we know it, they're going to be here. President Trump's successes, Congress's successes with the one big beautiful bill, hopefully another success with the CR. How are you feeling about midterms?
Well, I feel great because I don't think I did 81 visits in my district over the August recess. It was a crazy visit, meeting thousands of people. And what I heard is they were very happy with how things are going. They want law and order in our cities. They want fair trade deals. They don't want illegal immigrants to get Medicaid. They want the American government to be fighting for America. And I think when you look, President Trump is winning every day, and we Republicans in Congress are helping him do that. So I am very optimistic. If we sell the working families tax cut and make clear that Democrats opposed no tax on tips. They wanted tip workers to pay taxes. They want overtime workers to pay taxes on that. They want people to pay taxes on Social Security. That's what they want. They are the party of taxing the little guy, and we were the party of reducing taxes on the little guy and making them safe to walk the streets of their neighborhoods. We're focused on Americans. They're focused on illegal immigrants and criminals. And I think when we tell that story, we're going to have a great year next year.
Absolutely. Sir, there's a cultural item that I want to get to. The Muslim mayor of Dearborn, Michigan, Abdullah Hammoud, he told a resident, there's a clip of this out there, he tells a resident that he isn't welcome in his city because he opposed naming a street after a Hezbollah supporter. So I know that you had a lot to say about this, and it's splitting parts of this country, unfortunately, like Dearborn, Michigan. Give us your take on it, sir.
Well, look, we've got a Muslim problem in America, and we have to accept that. You can find example after example after example where Muslim political leaders and their religious leaders speak and do not share American values. We have focused very hard on illegal immigration, and we have largely solved that problem of more coming in. We're now going to have to take a look at legal immigration because we cannot allow people who do not share our values, who do not want to assimilate into our society, and do not want to add value, simply want to conquer it, to take over. And that's what we've seen in Dearborn. Think about this. A Muslim said to a Christian, you are not welcome here because you do not want a street named after a terrorist. We're going to have to go after a lot of these people and make America safe for Americans. And I'm determined to do that.
Absolutely. Well, sir, you have been doing that for your constituents down in Florida and doing it for this country. And we appreciate you so much being here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.